Hello, Gamba Shop came back once again. And first thing first, for those who don't really know, where's the EPO video? George has went on break due to some medical complications, and I wish him the best with that. So, bigger than any fight in EPO or anything else like that. As long as George is alive and healthy, that's all that matters. But I didn't really have too many videos. I didn't want to talk about lanterns because we got a bunch of idiots complaining about how much green it is in the Lanterns TV show, on which I might, matter of fact, nah, I've been holding off for too long. But back to my main thing. A new Spider-Man coming up, Brand New Day, which is ironic to call it Brand New Day because the storyline in the comics, a lot of people don't like it because it broke up MJ just to save Mary, Aunt May. And what has Aunt May done since then? Nothing. Played like no significance. So why even keep her alive? And what are my thoughts about the Brand New Day trailer? I think it's alright. There's nothing in this trailer that excites me that I haven't heard before. Bruce Banner's going to be in it. We already knew that. It's going to have Frank Castle. We already knew that. Just like we know it's going to have Tarantula, Tombstone, Scorpion, the black and white dude. Who else? Like, whenever we have a good bit of villains in this movie, no Sinister Six confirmed. So why are they in the movie? A lot of these characters, especially like Tarantula and the black and white guy, and the blue and black guy, and like a few other, those guys are pretty much just gonna be a montage villain. They're gonna get beaten up and packed up real quick. So don't expect, well, it's gonna be some big. Nah, that's not gonna happen. Whether somebody's gonna play a role in the plot where they're getting whooped, there's some type of gang war. We already know from the set leaks that Scorpion is broken out of jail. So who's breaking all these people out of jail? Who knows? But we'll touch on that, but there's nothing in this trailer that really excites me. But there's nothing I see in the trailer that makes me like mad. It's just alright. As you know, I haven't been the biggest fan of Tom Holland's Spider-Man because I want him to be his own Spider-Man, not just an MCU character. You know, to have his own story arc, his own thing. But has he already had that? The first movie, he was Iron Lad. Second movie was just, we got a whole bunch of characters that was put in the trailer that wasn't there. But Hydro Man is an important character. He was fake. No Way Home, which is a nostalgia montage fest, which the plot didn't mean anything. Electro never died. The Lizard never died. And certain character things, people accept it because you know what time it is. Nostalgia! It sells! But what about the plot? We don't care! So, now you're trying to flip-flop. It is what it is. But this movie, when I first saw it and heard things about it, you know, there's going to be no NJ, there's going to be no Nate. I believe that it's finally going to be Peter Parker out there by himself, being Spider-Man. It doesn't mean like he can't have any other characters, but it's just, I want him to be his own thing and branch out and do his own thing. I'm not expecting to see Tobey Maguire. I'm not expecting to see Andrew Garfield. I'm expecting him to take the steps necessary to be his own, without having to have his back leaning on other characters. But we got the Hulk in here, and we got the... We'll get to that. I mean, let's get into the trailer. We start off with Peter Parker looking at some old footage of MJ, and his name not Nate. Ned of Ned. Now, how much do I like this plot point? I'm 50-50 on it, because one thing is just like... It's one of those things where, depending on how they handle it, it's depending on how I react to it. It's one of those things where, you know, just... It's hard to let old things go, but it's one of those things that Peter's going to have to let go, and we move on to some other character. That's one thing. But if we're going to tailor this, we're going to bring them all back. Then what was the point of the last movie then? If there's not going to be any consequence, what was the point? If there was no consequences for Peter Parker not being remembered or known by anybody, then what's the point? And the fact that he made that stupid spell just because I didn't get into MIT Tech. You know how many people don't go to college with their friends or brothers or girlfriends? It's like, are you serious? Can't talk to her over the phone. You can't meet up for dates after school. Really? Really? And that's how you choose. It is what it is. Right? And then Peter hops down, and we get this incredible shot of him close up with the mask looking down. We got some people hyping this up like, oh, we've never seen the suit react like this. Yes, we have. The intro for Amazing Spider-Man 2, you saw the fabric in the suit moving when he was gliding down. Hey, if you like to see him, man, you like to see him. But don't try to like spread lies like we haven't seen the suit do that before. Like, let's not do that. And the CGI, I'm taking it as it's not finished. Cause some of the background shots of him standing there, one moment it looks like a movie, next moment it looks like he's standing in front of the green screen. But hey, that's on me. And it goes into, my name is Peter Parker, and I just go to another aspect. Depending how they play the whole down his luck thing, it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Why would I say that? Now you've seen that recent Spider-Man video talking about. There's been a lot of fetishization of treating Peter Parker like garbage, and it's just like I said before, the greatest part about Peter Parker is he gained the abilities to change things in his life, but he still got to deal with the responsibilities and consequences of his actions. So like there's no, well, put a band-aid over it and everything will be alright. So that's why when they introduced Paul in the comic book, if they would have kept Mary Jane and Peter Parker separate, nobody would care. But the fact that they keep teasing, oh, they could get back together, stop it. Just have Peter move on. If you hate that relationship between MJ and Peter so much, if you despise those two characters, stop having her show up in the books and move on. Like many other Spider-Man characters. When the last time you saw J. Jonah Jameson, last time you saw Flash Thompson, so on and so on and so on. But all depends. He got his stuff from the washing machine. I don't blame him still seeing Ned and MJ around the local spots they used to hang out at. But it's really how they choose to implement this whole thing of just I'm just gonna sit here and have a mopey Peter, or just like, well, that spell was a part of the consequence. But that's the thing. If it's like an organic thing, he start talking to Ned and MJ, that would be one thing. Now I find it quite hard to just to happen in the same party when they have even inside the same college. How does that happen? But it was like a situation when they came to him, well, maybe he go work with Kirk Connors, or maybe he's there at college working with Bruce. But remember, he's not an MIT tech. No, correction. He was able to change that. Then everybody forgot about him. I guess he still is at MIT tech. I'm not gonna get to that. Right? Let's see Spider-Man in the news. Hop off the rooftop with something that looks something fresh out of Spider-Man PS4. And we see a scene where we constantly see from behind the scenes of in this armored truck. Now, if the armored truck is the hand, it would have fit their MO. But because Frank Castle is chasing after this truck, and due to the lineup of villains you know is going to be in it, even though most of these guys are going to be Montage and Toy Bait. Well, not Toy Bait. I say it'd be good for some action figures. We don't know what this guy. If we saw the symbol. Now, is it the demons? I do personally believe, to a degree, that Mr. Negative is in this movie. Right? You see what scene I'm talking about, but he get hit by Frank Castle van. I find the Frank Castle part to be hilarious. Frank, get out of my way! Get out of my way, kid! Get out of my way! Right? Just hit me with your van. That's a nice scene. And he webs at the grenade launcher. Now, I'm not a physicist, right? No, I'm a scientist, right? Now, we know that a spider's web, especially Spider-Man webs, are pretty tough, right? If Frank would have launched that, unless there's some type of, like, sharpened tip on the tip of that a grenade launcher shell, technically everybody in this van should have got blown up. But that is what it is. Shoot the grenade launcher, he flies back, and Peter Parker snatched this man out of his vehicle. And Frank is bleeding, and he's like, mother, and he get webs up. That's a nice scene, I can't deny. Home, Frank. Personally, Frank, I can't tolerate that level of difference. But what do you mean go home? How did you know Frank canceled already? Who knows? That's the thing. It's been like a few years since the last movie. Who knows? Who knows? You still got the Daredevil stuff. That's Netflix series is canon, but not canon. So we still got to see how much season 2 adapts from that. But he sees MJ at a club. Well, not a club. At the club. At a party. At some college party. And he's staying distant. And now people are theorizing this is Rich Homie Paul. I think this is gonna be a fake out date guy, where we've seen this happen 1,000 times, where they quote unquote break up and move on, and then there's the new guy who's there. Sometimes they turn him into a comedian, sometimes they turn him into a jackass. I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. I think this is just him showing interest. And then we get the biggest element of the trailer, which is interesting, and that is Peter's quote-unquote spider mutation. Now, when they say they're going to give Peter Parker organic webbing, my first instinct was why? What does that add to his character? What is that going to do to him? Like, he halfway barely made his own web shooters. And got everything else with Tony Stark. He just got to give him organic weapon too. Just now, if this turns into Man Spider, and Peter becomes like a Man Spider, I'll be interested on how they adapt it. Right? Hopefully, get some 1990s actual horror Man Spider type stuff. I want the little Jimmys to be scared in cameras. Why? It's not about laughing at the children. It's about Man Spider is like a monstrous ordeal. Right? If we're gonna do Man Spider, I want him to have the 6 arms. Now I want him to mutate into that monster man. Is it gonna happen fully? There's no guarantee. So I'm not even gonna hype myself up. I have seen no toy leaks about it, about Man Spider showing up. He's a great part of so anytime you see like Peter Parker with 6 arms, 9 times out of 10 he might end up mutating a Man Spider. It's just but it all follows that plot genetics. Peter Parker's genetics mutating. Now why would this happen? Now this ties into the whole universe jumping thing of the last movie. That would make sense if he actually did go somewhere else. Most of that movie still takes place in the 616, and which why call the MCU and comic books the same universe? Let's call it the 6162. Stupid. It is what it is. I don't enjoy this stuff either way. But Peter Parker collapsed, and I let another origin story of why. Because remember, all that stuff with what type of spider he got bit by, whether Uncle Ben was alive or not, was all cut out. So you take away Uncle Ben and give that same moment to Aunt May and achieve nothing. Congratulations. So hopefully we get some more backstory with the spider that bit him. Maybe things have changed with that. Maybe things have not. And we've yet to see any consequences from Tom Hardy's Venom getting crossed over to here. As a piece of the symbiote was left behind, on which I'll forever say it to the day I die. Al Ewing, and especially Donny Cates, has ruined any curious or interesting thing about the symbiotes. Straight trash, man. But we got Peter waking up in his spider cocoon, and he's falling down, and the organic weapon check in, but they don't show it yet, right? On which the cocoon thing is interesting because back when the symbiote was like, let's just think, the whole evil side of the symbiote came from the 1990s series. In the comic books, he was just, Peter Parker would go to sleep, he just go buck wild at night. Just does everything. Well, he wasn't really changing Peter Parker's personality, but it's just the fact that there's an alien on him that is doing things when he's not aware of it, and we don't know what type of death and destruction he's caused. Potentially, he wasn't actually doing anything wrong. He was just going out on the prowl. And Peter was like, get this thing away from me. Now, from the symbiote's point of view, you found me in space. I've been your bro. I've had your back, and you gonna toss me away like I'm trash? This is why we are Venom. Too bad they ruined Eddie Brock as well. Tragic. But he's gonna get analyzed by somebody. You see this 3D shot that looks like some technology from Amazing Spider-Man. And now some might say there's a narrator that comes in. Some people have already heard it. Some people have not. Who is analyzing Peter Parker? Now some people think. Now some people might say, well, maybe this is Bruce Banner. Nah, I think it's Kirk Connors. Because Keith David is in this movie, and there's been some reports, especially since his voice is in here, talking about the life cycle of a spider. If you need someone to talk about animals and mutation, well, who better would it be than Kirk Connors? Now, would he be the Lizard himself? I doubt it. Because the MCU had been hardcore avoiding any type of Amazing Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire type activity. Very, they've been ducking that stuff hard. So, I doubt that would happen. But, good to see him play like a role in here. But then, why have Kirk Connors? You got Bruce Banner. Remember, Bruce specializes in gamma mutation. It's not genetic altering. Very different. I'm sure he dabbled in it, but it's not the same like Peter and his radiation. And then he meets Bruce, and Bruce is like, hey, "What's your name again?" Will Bruce remember Peter Parker? No. Will the Hulk remember Peter Parker? Possibly, because I'm not gonna get into the whole Bruce Banner Hulk type ordeal. If you understand the character, understand why there's a difference. They're the same person, but Bruce has his memories and the Hulk has his memories too. It's like only certain parts of his brain activating at one time. We got that. We got Peter Peter reacting to this whole flashbang type thing. Now this could just be a headache because of his mutation, or it could be, somebody using some shocker tape technology. And one of them side villains. Is it going to be Tarantula? No. Could it possibly be some of Scorpion's poison? Probably. It's a chance. But it seems like it could be a combination of both, where he could be fighting somebody, maybe get hit by a flashbang, and maybe that triggers like a mutation type thing where it agitates it. Could be. And now he's whipping up his house. Now more people will compare this to your average spider. I said this is more the behavior of Tarantula. Anybody who watched Tarantula videos should know that they kind of whip up their house like this. And tarantulas and spiders are both arachnids, but they treat their house differently. Spiders make webs. Alright, they're catching flies, mosquitoes, bees, anything that hops into the web. A tarantula will whip out of his house to capture anything that walks in front of it. Yes, they're the ultimate ambush predators. They're the ultimate stick-up man. You step on my porch, you're gonna die. So this is more a tarantula type behavior. But I don't know. Man, Spider might be an ordeal. If Peter is the main villain in this movie, and it's adapted well, I would like it. But it all depends. And then you explain Frank Castle and the Punisher being here. And you got Bruce Sin. I don't know. I've never been a fan of Mark Ruffalo Hulk. Hopefully they're taking more serious in this movie instead of him being the comedy man. Because outside of 2012, ever since he showed up in Comedy Man, a failed relationship with Black Widow that didn't really go anywhere, in which, once again, there has been no Betty Ross. She has had no significance, even though she's a Hulk character, and has proven to calm the Hulk down. But it is what it is. You know what time? You don't care about that. Well, not we. They don't care about that. And he goes to May Parker's grave, which is weird because it says 2024 she died, but I think No Way Home take place like 2 years after 2022. So I think the date is still correct. Well, we get this scene where somebody's in the chair. Whoa, pause. I don't think I ever noticed this. We get a scene where that guy's in the chair, and he's strapped to the chair. I don't know who this could be now I think about it. Is that a Sandman? It's not Tombstone or anything. Could it be Peter Parker in the trap I died in? I don't know. This is the most curious part of the trailer so far. Could it be another adaptation of Electro? Possibly, but I don't know. An explosion. We already know that it's going to be a break out of prison, so this probably could be that. Now, who breaks Scorpion out of prison and why? Like I said before, a lot of these guys that announce as villain, there are going to be just a montage villain. They're all going to get packed up real quick. Outside of Frank Castle, the Hand, and the situation with the Hulk, whether it's going to be Savage Hulk, Joe Fish, whatever they choose to do, because they can't make the Hulk a good character. You see what they did to She-Hulk, but hopefully in this movie they'll treat him better, right? So remember when I said there's possibly Mr. Negative, right? So Peter Parker opened up the armored truck, which had this old lady in it, right? Now, why would this old lady be driving this armored truck, causing so much death and destruction, right? And then you see that she's just looking like she's dazed, right? And then something transferred to the armored guard, which I presume is in... So this is possibly what happens, right? The armored truck goes bowling down the street because somebody took control of this old lady. Now, maybe somebody ordered the armored truck offline, GTA style, who knows? But they used her as some type of diversion to drive this truck into the prison. It crashes inside, right? And then when Peter gets there and finally stops it. Now, some might say, why would Frank Castle be chasing it? You know Frank don't turn down the chance to splatter somebody. You know what time it is. Frank always carry the hollow points. So then when he gets to the prison, the Scorpion get breaking out and all these other people, right? Which triggered the montage villain thing. We realized that Grandma was innocent. She was being taken control of. Maybe Daredevil make like a cameo to the Defender in court, but something transferred to the other guy. He has a sinister smile. This obviously is inside of a prison, and then it transferred to somebody else. The only person I've seen with that type of ability is like Mr. Negative. I won't proclaim that I'm some type of big Mr. Negative. Well, I won't say like I always knew who Mr. Negative was. I was introduced to him by the 2018 PS4 game, but besides from him, I can't recall any other mind-altering villain that just, take over people's minds. This is obviously not Chameleon. It's obviously not the Jackal. And the fact that it's not seemingly to be caused by technology and how it just transfer from one person to another, I don't know, man. Unless it's just some wild, buck wild symbiote, is fitting the description for Mr. Negative. Is there a hand villain that could fit the description? I would say no. Not like this. And then we have this dude that people kept saying could be Norman Osborn. Now, apparently Timothy Chalamet could be playing Harry Osborn. So I'm pretty sure this guy's playing like a new character or somebody who works at the prison or some type of psychiatrist. Who knows? You know. But then again, Spider-Man is talking to him. So, could be Hobgoblin. Who knows? Could he be the main villain? Could this be a new twist on Mr. Negative? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? We get this shot with somebody in the hood. Now, this pretty sure this is Sadie Sweet character. And it's a Sadie Sink character. And I can't remember. The girl from Stranger Things. And from like some other stuff. People say she could be playing Jean Grey. On which, I really don't like this whole ultimate use of the mutants. What is this? Well, they're not people that's born or after effect of using the gauntlet. They're just always there. No, not just always there. They just they sprung up and Wonder Man's now a mutant. Why? Kamala Khan's now a mutant. And all these other characters are just random mutants. So not only are we going to act like the Inhumans don't exist, everybody's just a mutant. Okay. So once again, what her role would be, I don't know, maybe she's playing pop star or something. Not pop star. A social media person, who knows? Because there's a whole lot of camera equipment here. And that was the same get up that Sadie Sink was wearing, so. And then we get our first look at the Scorpion. Now this is not a bad shot. Hopefully Peter Parker has kicked the helmet from the top of his head. If not, this could be an odd look for Scorpion when his face is fully exposed. If he had like a neck piece that goes up to like the bottom of his jaw, the back of his head, I could say yeah, but it's just like his head is just like you're going to get Spider-Man with no type of head protection. You know that gave Doc Ock brain damage, right? Like it led to like a nerve disease. You do realize this, right? That Peter gave him brain damage back. So before we see it looks alright, of course it's a dingy green, because you know what time it is. We can't have these characters have no gosh darn color, but it is what it is. We got to see the full reveal. Now hopefully the tail is actually full, because like according to some art leaks it looks different. But no, it looks fully full. And it actually looks better. So it's just that he might not just wear the helmet. Hopefully Peter Parker kicked the helmet off his head, because it's just him just having his head exposed like that. It's an interesting choice. Peter's sliding all over the place. We get to see when MJ and Peter look at each other. There's no rekindling the relationship. It is what it is. But I do believe the grandma theory is real. Somebody's controlling Grandma. Now, we don't know where the armored truck comes from, but the armored truck is crashed into a building. We just saw an explosion earlier, right? And Grandma's looking dazed and confused. And something transferred from her to a security guard to another guy. So Grandma's going to play confused because she don't know what's going on. There is nobody else I know with that ability. No one. He's a bus. Well, now I think about it. Wait, pause. When Peter Parker hits that bus when he drifts in the tank, does that not look like somebody doing a road get up from like X-Men Evolution? Look, it's green and white shirt, white and like colored hair. Hey, look, she does fit the description, but no, that's not gonna be Jean Grey. They recreate Amazing Fantasy 15, indifferent towards it. That's what I mean by the CGI might not be done. It looks alright, but like Peter sticks out beyond the background for some reason. It looks strange. Now the other shot. We get Mr. White and Black, white and blue, dark blue man there. That's the other villain. He's not Boomerang. He's some other guy. But this is what I meant by, does this not look like a perfect montage shot? It's not like Amazing Spider-Man, but which one? Like one of those movies had like a montage shot where people just kept getting beat back to back. I can't remember it, but that's pretty much what this looks like. So this could be after the prison breakout, or before the prison breakout, and he sends all of these guys to jail. Then the armored truck later break them all out. Because it's confirmed that Scorpion get a private escort in a helicopter after he gets out of jail. So what purpose would he be used? I don't know, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of madness, you know that our boy Rich Homie Scorpion always got somebody to pay off. He always in some type of debt. You know what time it is, but he's extremely effective. Just the fact that, you know, most people can't name one good Scorpion design to save their life. It's just what it is. And this is the, in my opinion, in my opinion, the worst redesign of any character I've ever seen. And once again, there's no color in his suit. This is supposed to be Tarantula. Once again, I will not lie to you and tell you that Tarantula is some type of popular character. But you look at this comic book thing here, and you look what they done with him. He looks like a generic military man. He literally looks like he looked like the Martian artist from Arkham Origins. That's what he looks like, a generic goon. This is the best you're not gonna give him like the partial bandana. Just like this is all. Once again, does this not look like a good montage shot of Peter Parker taking people to jail? That's what it looks like, man. All these friend frames. It kind of reminds me of that shot of Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man when the movie ended. And this is where we get the hand. Now this could be in the prison. This could be somewhere in Chinatown. It seems like he's been disarmed. He's not wearing his mask. Why? I don't know. Why he would not be, like, what type of villain would he be dealing with the hand where he would not be wearing his mask? Like, Peter has fought them before, but you don't really have any personal enemies inside the hand itself. So the person jumps, something triggers inside his body, another mutation. Like I said before, hope we get Man Spider, but there's no guarantee. He shatters the sword. And people are saying that this whole last shot that some people are cut out, more than likely it is. But having a Hulk in the movie, like Peter, you don't even need to jump towards him. The Hulk can just backhand a few of them. They just won't get up no more. Thunderclap, you know, just kick a few of them through Connecticut. You know, it's not much of a fight. But Kirk Connors says Rebirth, and I have a scene with MJ Ned in the game, and they get them back together like nothing happened. It is what it is. Like I said before, if I could work on my own stuff, I would not care about this stuff. I won't say I won't care. I won't be as agitated like I'm being forced to gosh darn watch. I just be able to do my own thing and just live life. But overall, that's my pretty much thoughts about it. We know Kirk Connor's gonna be in here. Bruce Banner, the Punisher. What role would the Punisher play in, and how toned down would he be? Because you know what time it is. Frank Castle can't help himself but to splatter somebody. I'm sorry, I can't feel bad for the people that Frank Castle puts down. I just can't. For that same merit, if they wanted redemption, should have put down the gun and dope a long time ago. So it's just, like, let's imagine, right? You have someone like the Punisher just wiping out gangs left and right, and you still choose to deal drugs. I'm sorry, that's self-inflicted to me, buddy. But you know, a lot of things are going into the movie. Like I said before, it won't be as chaotic as it looks. But I swear, just like, can you guys come up with any other person that can have a mind control transfer from person to person? I've never seen Chameleon do such a thing. Or many other characters. We know that there's a symbiote in this universe for some apparent reason. We got Kirk Connors in here, Bruce Banner, Punisher, in which I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a scene with Punisher as like on Peter's team in some form or fashion. I don't think he's going to be a villain all the way through. But there's a whole lot of moving parts, Peter mutation, and some side villains that are going to get 1-2 punched and just used for a montage shot. That's the thing. It will be more curious to see where and why. Because it seems like Scorpion does have a good big fight scene. He get his own setting, darkened setting. He's not just getting fought in the day like Peter's doing this in one day compared to the other guys. So maybe he's the last one he gets to with the cleanup squad. And if this is a distraction for what? If we know Tombstone is confirmed for this movie, would Tombstone pull something this massive? If he's played like the big man from Spectacular Spider-Man, possibly, but I don't see Tombstone having like a whole movie to himself type plan. He's a villain, but he's just like, it's kind of like having a kingpin. Like, unless it's like Daredevil or something like that. Just, I don't see him giving Peter Parker too many problems. Now somebody say once again, could it be this whole gang war storyline? Well, the only gangster we got here is Tombstone. And a bunch of seem like a broken out villains, or villains that are going to be a part of Spider-Man montage. They're going to make for a great AMV, I guarantee you that. So it's just, I as I was saying, it just depends. Like, there's nothing in this trailer that I dislike or hate, but it all depends how they execute the ideas and how they adapt things, you know. Because it has some ideas, and it all depends on the execution. Um, how do they end up at the same party? Pure coincidence. Um, Peter's mutation was triggering it. No one knows. Maybe, hopefully, Bruce Banner, and especially Kirk Connors. Now, does Kirk Connors need to be the Lizard to talk about mutation? No. Kirk Connors is a very intelligent man. Uh, Whether he's tied in with Oscorp or he's not, he's always been extremely intelligent and interested in biology. It's just who Kirk Connors is. He's outside of Reed Richards. Kirk Connors can get it done. You know, Reed Richards, the cream of the crop. Kirk Connors, you know, it's the street version of Reed Richards when it refers to biology. Now, Regan, Reed Richards is his own idea, but that's my overall thoughts about it. The reason why I never thought about making a video to it because not much interesting happened. And I was just waiting for the next chapter review. But you know, people has asked for it. Here I am to deliver. But that Lantern thing, I was gonna let it go, man. I was gonna let it go. I was gonna let it go, man. But no, like always, when I hit that camera, now it's time to go skin some scalps. But look, you guys thoughts and opinions. You know that people like the Boomerang guy. Like, he's not based on Captain Boomerang. I can't remember his name. Hold on a quick moment. Wait, pause. Really? His name is just Boomerang? Fred Myers Boomerangs? A Boomerang specialist? Wait, what? So he's... So he just marbles Captain Boomerang. I was just hoping for a more complex name. But outside of that, boys and girls, outside of that, that's more or less it, kids. That's my thoughts about the brand new day. Brand new day of Spider-Man. We know that Spider-Man 3 from Insomniac is coming down the pipe, and I just once again, remember I made that Green Goblin video. I even take a Hobgoblin, but why is it in extended media? Peter Parker's supposedly arch nemesis, his supposed main villain, is never there. When was the last time we've seen Green Goblin on screen? Not some nostalgia bait, not him being re-brought back for something else. Like, actually, a new interpretation in video game or movies or TV show. In live action, it was 2002, and I reused him from No Way Home. When the last time he had any significance in a video game? Not in the past 10 years. Outside of the movie games, have Green Goblin ever been a main villain? Like this is ridiculous. Like, I'm not expecting him to be in this movie. It was never said, but you know, I'm more curious to see what type of role. Cause the hand, before we wrap this up, the hand could be a major plot point or a minor plot point. The hand can fill in for Rhino role in Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they're part of the plot, but they got their own objectives. So it ties in with the Punisher. Maybe Daredevil might make a cameo, but it's really with the Hulk. Where now there is some people have claimed that the Hulk could get mind control again and go on a rampage and go back to Savage Hulk and just destroy the whole Professor Hulk thing. Which once again I say, if that's going to be the case, would Mr. Negative not fit somebody who would do it? Now some might say there's no Aunt May, there still is Feast. What would Mr. Negative be mad about? Remember, the 2018 interpretation was Insomniac interpretation of the character. He's still Mr. Charity Man. But Martin Lee get up to that gang activity. Now if they're turning into Martin Lee versus Tombstone, then we could be having something interesting. Then explain why Frank Castle is here. I'm here to clean up criminal scum. And we got one scumbag, and we got another scumbag, Mr. Negative. That's a double whammy. And that's why he would be going after technology to face someone stronger, because Tombstone got indestructible skin, and Mr. Negative has powers. Now, would the hand be caught up with this? It could be that Mr. Negative cracked the deal with the hand, and there will be no demons in the MCU universe. Could be. But since the Netflix stuff is semi-canon, then the hand is already their own entity. So why would they work for Negative aside from him breaking them out of jail? Who knows? All I'm saying is, if it is like a Game War type plot, Tombstone gonna be Tombstone. Mr. Negative's in here, and Peter Parker could, at the end of this, turn into his own villain. I'm telling you, if we get Man Spider, it'd be a great thing. All right. I don't want to see them cheap out. I want that 1990s mutated giant head, 6 armed, just monster. And it has to be up to Kirk Connors and the Punisher and the Hulk to solve the day. I don't know. Maybe it'd be one of those days for Frank Castle where he choose to play ball and do what's right for the kid. I'm not saying that Frank Castle is some type of evil monster, but it's just if it comes between, helping out Spider-Man or splattering a mobster, he would shoot that mobster first, then maybe have Spider-Man. But the criminal scum, let's go. But it's been a Cable Guy video. Like, comment, subscribe, and what you believe about the theories, the thoughts, and idea. Do you believe Negative in this movie? I do not expect to see the Lizard in this movie. I don't. He will serve no purpose, and the movie is already crowded as it is. So, but we gotta see, ladies and gentlemen. BWK, peace.